past lives, but as we say, everything exists at once. It's just that you're coming from that idea in a linear space-time perspective. So you make connections to other simultaneous existences from the present, but you experience those connections through the space-time framework as memories. That's the way you translate those present connections to other simultaneous parallel existences, as if they are memories, therefore you assume they're in the past.
So would you also say then that if we experience them as a memory, is there an optimum way to grasp that they're not memories, but perhaps now that can take you in this perspective of where you are to a different state of being?
Well, do you understand the television analogy that we've often used to illustrate this point?
I haven't heard it, but...
All right, you know that while you're watching your television and you're watching a particular program, yes?
Uh-huh.
You know there are hundreds of other programs playing simultaneously, don't you?
Yes.
But when you change the channel, then you get another program. Now, is the program you were just watching, if it's still playing, is that in the past? Or is it still going on?
Yeah. Okay.
It's still going on, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you can change back to it. Ooh, look, click, 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 click.
Yeah.
I'm clicking through all these different parallel realities, and they're all going on at the same time. But because I'm doing it through this focused device called a television, I am saying that, well, now I'm clicking to another program, so the program I was watching is now in the past. Even though I know it's actually still going on. Simultaneously, it still exists, but I'm saying it's in the past because that's how I perceive it, because I'm only perceiving one program at a time through this television device.
Okay.
So the TV device is the substitute for the linear space-time framework that you're looking at these things through, filtering your consciousness through, and therefore you create the illusion that these things are in the past. Therefore, they must be my past lives, even though they're not really your past lives.
Yeah, so then it's your focus and your awareness is just on what your preference is at that moment.
Oh yes, this is a dynamically changing thing. Many of you assume when people talk about past lives that it's always the same. No, it dynamically changes. Why? Because you dynamically change as a person. And the person you are now may need to connect to other simultaneous existences, and therefore you actually change your so-called past lives as you change. Now, sometimes you will continue to maintain a connection, or more specifically, you will recreate a connection to a particular simultaneous incarnation and make it seem as if, well, that's always been my past life. But in fact, you could unplug from it and plug into something else entirely. It's a dynamically changing thing. It's never static. So in one moment, someone who is sensitive to picking up on those connections might say, oh, well, you have this past life in Italy, in the Renaissance. All right. That may be true at that moment, that you have a connection to that simultaneous incarnation. But 5 years from now, or even 5 minutes from now, if you change yourself radically enough, you may say, well, I don't really need that connection anymore. I'll plug into something else now that I'm deriving information and energy from that's more relevant for who I am now. And so you go to another psychic, and the psychic says, no, I don't pick up that you've ever had a past life in Renaissance Italy. I am sensing that you have a life now in revolutionary Russia. It doesn't mean that the first psychic was wrong. It just means you've changed your connections. Yes?
Yes.
Make sense?
It makes sense. Okay, so my next one is with those connections or with parallel realities or simultaneity. Karma. Can you give your take on karma with that?
Karma is nothing but recognizing that you may be out of balance to the energy you prefer to be and doing whatever is necessary to come back into balance. That's it.
Okay, that's beautiful. Okay, that's good. And one last thing, if you don't mind. I was thinking of thinking about what you said about the energy centers or the portals and using them. Do you pertain certain ones for certain healing certain chakras? Do you ever use it in that way? How do you experience using those centers?
Well, as we said, we are positioned in our ship above Sedona because it's the magnifying portal that allows us to filter the energy in such a way that it connects to that arc of other portals in a way that helps us balance the energy on your planet so that you can go through the transformation in, shall we say, a less rocky way than you otherwise might.
Yeah, I realize I asked it to you as Bashar, but I wanted to ask how you guys work with Daryl to use that.
How we work with the channel?
Yeah, with the channel.
Because when the channel experiences our energy in this way, all the different things that we perceive fuse into his electromagnetic field for him to use in whatever way is appropriate for him. So it helps him balance himself by remembering what he remembers of the energetic experience of channeling us, and therefore he can apply that in his own life path as well.
Okay.
Does that help?
That helps. Okay. Can I ask one more?
That was a question. You want to ask another?
Yeah. Okay. No. So if you felt my vibration, could you tell me what center, even if it wasn't on that page, what center would be a good one for me to visit?
Say that again.
I know.
Slowly.
I know I'm a little bit nervous of talking in front of the mic, but if you felt my vibration, could you say what would be one of the better vortexes to visit?
Are you attracted to one more than another?
I would say probably not right now, but I'm sure.
Then don't visit them.
Okay.
When you are attracted to one, visit it. When you're not attracted, don't worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
I can't really tell you that. You have to decide that for yourself. Because you are, right now, as we read your energy, uncertain.
Yeah.
So if you want to visit the uncertain portal.
Okay.
All right.
I want to skip that one. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Love you unconditionally.
And you as well.
Oh my God, thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, we're one reflected. What is my parallel oversoul Pleiadian self doing right now?
Which one?
The one with the long hair.
Which one?
The one that we spoke about last December? The one who had her feet in the pond?
Drinking something that to you would probably look like juice but isn't?
Right on. Some like high green content, maybe? Like
You are not being clear.
chlorella, spirulina, maybe green drink.
No, it's not green.
Okay. Is it for health or for expansion?
It is an expression of connecting into certain kinds of energy fields. I suppose you could say it can be used that way, but that's not the way it's being used. It's kind of an alteration idea. Do you remember us talking about the concept, or Willa talking about the concept of divinorum?
Yeah.
It's closer to that idea, though
Right
not
on.
exact.
Cool.
It's for altering states, connecting to altered state vibrations in a very specific way that's a little bit challenging to describe in your reality.
I first spoke to you linearly July of 2013
All right.
in Oakland, and I'm wondering what was my frequency back in the day at that time?
At that time, at that moment,
At that moment.
it was about 150,000 cycles per second.
Right on, right on. Lilac, indigo sky, emerald, solar, mango, magma, magenta, Bodhi, Ayana, Ely.
Yes.
Just wanted to say that. Just wanted to say hey.
Hey,
Sup?
many things are sup. Including your vibration.
Good news.
Travels fast.
I'm super excited about.
Is that your superhero name? I am super excited.
Yes. Super excited about connecting with the kids and the babies.
The hybrid children.
Well, the hybrid children, yes, but I was talking more about the human kids.
Oh, all right.
Like elite.
And what are you doing in that direction then?
Yeah, I'm finding them and spending time with them and
Yes. And
helping
so?
them.
Yes.
And they're helping me.
Yes.
So I just wanted to ask if there's anything that I should know about Alethea, Bodhi, and Ayana, babies.
Are you teaching them the fundamentals that we have talked about that will allow them to operate as self-empowered beings on your planet?
No.
Well, you could do that.
Okay.
Creating with your imagination safe spaces so that they can learn the consequences of the choices they make in a safe way before they test them out in the world. Teaching them that they are self-empowered beings and that they can attract whatever they need without harming themselves or anyone else in doing so. Adapting whatever it is that might be important for them to learn in physical reality to their excitement rather than attempting to box their excitement down into the lesson. So that you are teaching them how to learn, to be eager to learn by adapting the lessons to their excitement instead. Those things are important for children on your planet in order for them to be fully functioning adults.
Absolutely.
So, by your example and through your imagination, you can create these kinds of interactions with them if that is exciting to you. And of course, your imagination may come up with other things as well.
Thank you, Bashar.
Thank you.
That's it.
That's it.
Hello, Bashar. I love you.
Our unconditional love to you as well.
First, I have a question about the wildfire. I think the wildfire is becoming more serious problem, especially in California.
Yes.
So, what do we need to be learned from it, and what can we take action for the
What can you learn from it?
wildfire?
Well, many things. Certainly you can learn how to ecologically balance your environment in a different way so that it is less susceptible to those kinds of experiences. That's certainly one thing that can be done. Looking into the idea of how it is you develop your communities and how you connect to one another and creating infrastructures that can take care of these things should they occur, but also diving deeper into understanding that this can be for many people a new beginning, a starting over, a cleansing act in a way. It might put them in touch with certain fear-based beliefs that they may have had, but it can also allow them to go through a trial by fire and burn away those things that are not really as important as they once thought they were, so they can really streamline themselves and develop a new understanding not only of themselves individually, but a new way of connecting to society and allowing those emotional connections to support each other in these kinds of things that can happen on your planet so that you can operate more efficiently, more lovingly, more connectedly with each other and develop a very different idea of what it means to be a community. You can learn those things from it, among other things.
Okay.
Does that help?
Yeah. And another thing is about Atlantis.
Atlantis?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Can you explain more detail about what happened at the end?
Well, the idea of Atlantis ended, as you would say, through an asteroidal strike in the Atlantic Ocean that created a massive tsunami that wiped that civilization out. The idea is that your United States of America is mirroring and reflecting and reliving a cycle of Atlantean energy so that you can decide whether or not you're going to continue to head in the direction that the Atlanteans did and disassemble themselves, or whether you're going to come up with a more positive outcome this time around.
Did they use crystal to...
They did. They had a unique understanding of how to use certain kinds of crystals and create certain kinds of crystals that focused and harnessed certain kinds of electromagnetic energies and sonic energies to create power and light. At their height, this is something that they did.
Was it a specific crystal?
not as you understand that. They manufactured or altered crystals, some of them quartz, of varieties of types of crystals, and infused them in different ways with different kinds of elements to create the effects that they ultimately got. So it's a science that you have yet to really learn, but many of your scientists are beginning to understand how these vibrations work on certain crystals to create electromagnetic and illumination effects.
Okay. The last question is, recently I've been having dreams regarding space or another version of Earth.
Yes.
And one of the dream was I was in space and I came back to the Earth. I was in the ship.
Yes.
And I got off the ship and came down to the Earth.
Yes.
Was this just a dream or it was actually happened?
Well, you're connecting into an alternate version of yourself. So in that alternate reality, it actually happened. But you created the connection through a dream to have a memory of that happening in a parallel reality version of yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense.
All right. So pleasant dreams.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, Fred. I have 3 questions. You sometimes talk about people always getting what they need, not always what they want.
Correct. Because while sometimes wants and needs can coincide, a lot of times they don't. And what you need is what will fulfill you. Sometimes what you want has nothing at all to do with what you actually need. So we just make that difference so that you can pay attention to the difference, and when your wants and needs don't coincide, and when they do, because the need is always what will fulfill you.
Got it. But when you talk about need in that context, are you talking about you're not talking about the 7 neutral needs. Are you talking more about the needs to fulfill our theme in a given life?
In a sense, yes, but we're actually discussing what you need to survive in your physical world.
Right.
Because the things in order of which, if you don't have them, you will die the quickest.
Right.
So, number 1, you need air. Without it, you will die pretty quick. Yes?
Yep.
Then water. Without it, you will die relatively quickly. Some of you think that food is next, but it's not. It's sleep. You need to connect to the spirit world through sleep, or you will quickly go insane and die. Because physical reality is just a projection. And if you don't make that reconnection, you're going to kind of feel very hollow, very empty. Next is food. You can last a little while without it, but not too very long. Next is shelter. And what we mean by shelter, more specifically or more generally, is environment. If the environment you're in is conducive to allowing you to live a comfortable physical life, then you don't necessarily have to interpret shelter as a house or a building. Some people can live outside in perfect comfort if the environment is conducive to it. But now we enter the realm of the ideas of energy, whereas what is important next is the idea of relationship and connection. Now, this can be relationship and connection to many different things. It doesn't have to be a person. You can have a relationship with the cosmos. You can have a relationship and a connection to a tree or an animal or even yourself. But the idea is that relation and connection is vital. Or your spirit, in a sense, your energy begins to die off if you feel too isolated, too disconnected. Not that you actually are capable of disconnecting, but you can create the experience of it, which will make you feel diminished. And that, over time, can allow you to feel like a slow death. Then comes the idea of creative expression, which ties into following your passion. If you're not allowed to really express who you truly are, then again, you experience what you might euphemistically call a spiritual death over time. You feel empty, devoid of purpose. And therefore, these are the basic needs in order to continue to survive, and not only survive, but thrive in your physical reality experience. But when you have those things, you actually are fulfilled. Because if you can breathe, and if you can drink, and if you can sleep, and if you can eat, and if you are provided some comfort, and if you have the ability to form relation, and the ability to express yourself as fully as you possibly can, in your truth, that's all you need to be fulfilled in life. Sometimes the things you want may coincide with the things you need, and through synchronicity, they will come as reflections and symbolic expressions of the vibratory level you are on that is fulfilling you. So sometimes, yes, you can attract physical things that will reflect the state you're in, because they will come automatically if they are, in fact, symbols that are reflective of having what you need. But sometimes people will want things that they think will make them happy that will do no such thing.
But in the context of, let's say you have a theme in life and having
Yes.
an experience or meeting a person
Yes.
that will trigger, be a catharsis for a change,
Yes.
can that be classified as a need? Like
Yes,
you need to
because
make
what
this
does that fall under? What category does that fall under?
relationship.
Thank you.
Yeah, got it. Okay, thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Second question. As we're talking about vortices and places on the planet,
Yes.
is there anything with regards to the area of Costa Rica, the country of Costa Rica, in terms
Oh,
of...
yes, of course, but we're not addressing portals outside the ones we just addressed.
Well,
now.
I don't mean, I'm not talking about it as a portal.
Yes.
But maybe in terms of the hybrid children, the enclaves, I'm wondering, just based on the raw, natural, pristine element there, and also how the country has formulated itself, I'm wondering if that might be in the future a place where the hybrid children might be coming, as well as Maui and other places.
It is a possible sanctuary,
Mm.
and that's all we'll say.
The third question is, with regards to permission slips and the formula. This is a conversation I'm always having with my wife, and she loves her permission slips, her hour-long meditation and her I am
Yes.
statements, and they work for her, and they're
Yes.
enjoyable
Yes.
for her.
Yes.
And I think that she sees the formula, which she's aware of, but I don't think she lives it, as a permission slip. And what I'm hearing you saying is it's not a permission slip, it's a fundamental mechanism.
Yes. It's actually a description of the structure of existence.
Can someone have a fluid flowing life without being aware of the formula and using other
Absolutely.
permission slips in place of
Absolutely.
them?
They may just do it naturally without even knowing they're doing it. Of course, you don't have to have a conscious recognition of the structure to be living in alignment with the structure. You can just do it if that's your nature.
Right. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Does that help?
It does help, yeah. And I just had one just quick little
Yes.
statement that's just fun to share. As you're talking about, the parallel realities and beginning to diverge and stop not being able to see the ones that we don't prefer.
Eventually, yeah.
Eventually. Well, on my TV, I've got 100 channels, whatever, and sometimes I flip through the news for entertainment to see what's happening in the world, and Fox News, which is one of the channels, which is a symbolic to me of a reality that I'm not preferring.
Yes.
All of a sudden on my TV, it's black. I can hear the sound, but I can't see the screen.
There you go.
All the other channels work, and that one, I
That
can't
could
see
be
it
the
anymore.
beginning of the idea of the split and the removal of a non-compatible vibration from your reality.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Bashar.
All of you now, please allow yourselves to enjoy your nutritional break, and we will resume this transmission afterwards. Enjoy.